Hello, everybody. Jackie Wolf here. You know, one of those dastardly truths that your mom and dad have talked to you about, even though some of you know the whole story behind that because you actually pay attention to things they say. I'm going to open this up with one of the biggest debates on Twitter right now is transgenderism. At the time of recording this, because, well, of course it is, we've been inundated by trans media as of the last few days. And I'm sorry, my voice is still a little gone from me being severely sick. Also, I'm still loopy from steroids. Behind me at the current moment, you will see a picture of Pikami. I don't know how to say. I think it's Ameno Pikami, who I have found adorably cute. Just super cute. Although she got this very simple model. It's just very cute. And I would love to give the person behind that voice a hug, honestly. But when it comes down to it, she was basically bullied off the internet by trans people because she wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy, and she's not the only one. Like, Silverveil and a bunch of other VTubers have had constant attacks, as well as normal streamers have had constant attacks because of, well, TRAs. And for those of you who don't know what a TRA is, a TRA is a trans radical activist. It's something that I figure I had to clarify. Anyways, this is not the subject of today's video. I just wanted to say that I find her cute. Her personality makes me happy. And it's going to be bad when she graduates. The actual meat and subject of this video, unfortunately, is going to be a bit more dry and dreary. I'm sorry, pick me.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
Now, one of the solaces I take out of that is I don't think anybody in that audience actually knew what he was talking about. Boomer conservatives tend to be a little... Find some tabs there before some things get out there. The boomer conservatives aren't exactly the brightest when it comes to cultural war issues. And it's fine. I mean, I can understand that. But unfortunately, we do have to go through some definitions here before we get started on this. Now, the term transgenderism actually does have a definition. A lot of people on Twitter are too lazy to actually look. And I will admit that I am using the Wiktionary, the free dictionary, which is not normally the best place to look, but it does cite sources. So I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of faith that this is somewhat accurate. Move Twitter back over a little bit so this is easier to read for people. It's transgender plusism. Transgenderism, normally uncountable, plural transgenderism. The state of being transgender. See notes. I have the quotes extended. The International Journal of Transgenderism. 1994, this was written about by Gordini Olga McKenzie, transgender nation. Instead of searching for psychological causes of transgenderism, the early psychoanalysts proposed possible psychological origins for cross dressing and transgenderism. That means at this point in time, transgenderism and transvestitism were essentially related. 2012, Richard D. and Nolte, Sex in College, Things They Don't Write About or Write Home About, specific page 196 or 169. Nice. We will briefly discuss the interaction of gender orientation and sexuality, including transgenderism. In 2013's Simona Gallaredo, Children with Gender Identity Disorder, page 9. In this wider sense, transgenderism is a continuum line with the condition of anyone who may seek a life that is authentic to themselves as individuals, which is I'm fine with. If you're searching for a life authentic to yourself as an individual and it leads you to being trans, I'm cool with that. Whatever. That's your choice. But I think Mr. Knowles was using the second definition, a purported ideology behind transgender ideologies, trans activism, and trans rights movements. Now, there are some things with some of this that I unfortunately end up having to agree with. But don't take that against me. It's just that there are some places that are a bit radical on what they do and do not believe. And I believe that being trans is a choice. So the ones that would use the second definition is 2012's May 29th, Sheila Jeffries, The Guardian. Let us be free to debate transgenderism without being accused of hate speech. 2014's Michael Goldberg, What is a Woman? In The New Yorker. The dispute between radical feminism and transgenderism. The term is common in science, literature, but little is used by the transgender community and considered offensive by some, because GLAAD research says so. Sorry, I'm still getting over being sick, and my voice is still a little grainy, so you'll have to forgive me. We'll bring back we'll bring back somebody cuter than me. God, I've already lost everything I was going to do. Okay, so one of the big things about this is a lot of people are equating. There's another definition: the quality or characteristic of being transgender. Popular or calls to eradicate trans. He wants to. That was stupid. Do you think transgenderism should be banned from school? I'm trying to find it. Oh, okay. Here it is. In 1938, the Institute of Forensic Medicine recommended that no. There are. Don't tell me they're getting scrubbed now. Assholes. I recorded this video like 40 times. Oh, there it is. To anyone reading this, please replace transgenderism with Judaism and understand that why people are calling this genocidal. Judaism is not an ideology, it's a people. Calling to destroy it is calling for genocide. It's the same with trans people. It's unambiguous. Now, that means they're basically conflating this with the idea that, or the idea of the Holocaust, which I hate to tell people that I know on the right, there are a lot of people on the right that do that. There are a lot of people on the right that actually would call for this kind of thing to go into a full Holocaust. But At the same time, there are a lot of people on the right that are going, I don't know. Just days after saying that you cannot commit genocide against trans people because we're not real. According to the United States, trans people have been a real thing since 1930. I want to say it was 1932. But yeah, the legal definition of a trans person has been a thing since the 1930s. Again, it comes back to a lot of people don't actually do research or open a book. They just yell and scream at each other and point fingers, and then most of the masses just go, yeah, I agree with that guy. This is scary because I never heard about it. But yes, the actual definition for a trans person in the United States has existed since Weimar Germany. The reason it wasn't such a big problem is because of our innate social and family structure, which has been dissolved over the last few years. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, within a family structure, a trans person doesn't exist. Believe it or not, I have a very good relationship with both. Well, I have a good relationship with my family. I just don't exactly see eye to eye on everything that they do. I've never actually felt normal. So, and again, some of you know the whole story behind that because you asked the right questions or I was in the right state of drunk. But yes, when it comes down to it, the actual problem with this is the definition of a trans person has been in place for a very long time. The definition for transgenderism is fairly new, but they're going to switch the definition on you no matter what you do. So that's just it. They're going to compare this to the Holocaust. And I've sat here and just shit on both sides because this is stupid. This proves nothing or fixes anything. If you want to stop this kind of rhetoric where there's a lot of people that are being trans, a lot of people that are being groomed, as it were, because that does happen. And I'm not actually going to sit here and defend what I'm saying. There is grooming that goes on in schools on a daily basis. Then we need to strengthen back our local communities and get away from this idea of central power. But I've been Jackie. I don't have much more time to record this video before my throat gives out. You guys have a good one. I love you all. Peace, positivity, and as always, yeah, that just happened.